Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So, Namo Namaha and Shubha Sayam. Now, this is the fifth day of Navratri, and we have with us a very eminent speaker, a scholar, a writer, an activist. So, Professor Dr. Bharat Bhushan. He is the adjunct professor at the Center for Hindu Studies, University of Mumbai, and formerly professor and dean academics at Yashada, that is the Academy of Development Administration, Government of Maharashtra, Pune. At present he is the honorary secretary of the 142 years old Bombay Natural History Society at Museum Mumbai, and editor of the 125-year-old Journal of the BNHS. An eminent author, he has published books like The Birds of the Ramayana, Katha Panduranga in Marathi, Kailas Kora, Mysteries of the Ancient, The Black Tiger of Kodamita. He's an owner and author at more than 20 blogs, with a blog on Sri Ramaraksha Stotra. And interestingly, we are really proud to say that it has got 2.5 million hits. He is blessed with to have the darshan of the Mahadev from Gama in southern tip of Sri Lanka. An avid traveler, he has been traveling north, visiting various Shiva Tirthas, including all the Jyotirlingas, Sri Pashupatinath in Kathmandu, and later to Mount Kailas and Lake Manasarovar on the Guru Purnima day. So we have got such a eminent and a blessed personality with us, and I, we are indeed honored to have him, and he readily, when I explained him the concept, he readily agreed and encouraged us to do his lectures on the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Sorry. And his lectures on the Ramayana and the Mahabharata are actually, it's a thrill for the students to listen. So those who have not yet joined Hindu studies can join Hindu studies next year onwards, to listen to his lectures. The reason why I say this is that we who come with a background of Sanskrit, we take up a very textual approach, and his approach is a episodic approach. So that makes a difference. And so thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And yeah, so is Tamisham here? Tamisham? Yeah, I will later on, since I have got a medical issue, I need to go to the doctor. So I'll be here for some time, but then I'll later on make Tamisham the host, and he will navigate the discussion, which you'll have. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of discussion with Professor Bharat Bhushan, sir. So not taking much time between you and him. Over to you, sir.
Ma'am, you can make me the host.
Not audible.
Ma'am, you
Not
can.
audible. No, 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 no.
Madam, ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am,
Ye-
can you hear me?
You're
Somewhat
audible.
better, sir.
You are able to hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just reduce the bandwidth. Am I okay now? Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Let me just
So volume is little low.
yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, better, sir.
Okay. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the sense that today's session is about Girija, daughter of the Himalaya. The reason I am mentioning Girija instead of saying Parvati or Bhavani,
Sir, your voice is very low.
can you hear me now? Better?
Little bit better, sir.
Just a minute. Okay. I don't know how to solve this because it was quite okay. So
नहीं
can I go ahead?
Sir, you're audible, but the audio is pretty low. Voice is not very clear and it's coming very soft. I mean, it's not loud enough.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can
Okay.
hear, but there is an echo.
Echo. Don't know how to solve that.
Shall I shift? See, there are 68 participants right now.
Ah. Okay.
So shall we
Okay.
shift it to the Google Meet?
Yeah, if you can. No problem.
Please respond.
Yeah, no
Okay, ma'am.
problem. You can share
Okay,
the
ma'am.
link one shift.
How about now?
In a moment, I'll share a link. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that. Mohini, just
Yes,
then
ma'am.
let us shift the participants from here to there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll generate a Google link.
Sure, ma'am.
Do we leave this?
No, don't leave. Till the time ma'am is giving the link, we'll stay here. Once we have the link, we'll leave this call.
Okay.
We'll wait for some time.
Which area is sir operating from? Maybe the bandwidth issue is there.
I'm at Mumbai.
I missed you, sir. You're from which area? Pune?
I'm at Mumbai now at the museum.
Because this seems to be a bandwidth issue or something with your laptop or an headphone which is not connected properly.
Okay.
So are you in a room which is echoing, like it is shut down from all sides? Then the echo would happen. And if you are on a laptop, just check out on your laptop if your microphone is saying normal what do you call settings. If you're having a Bluetooth or something, try disconnecting them and only use a device, whatever laptop or the mobile.
I use the same laptop for all my lectures and I have had never a problem.
So now the
Now
voice is loud.
Yes,
Clear.
sir.
Loud
Now
and
it is
clear.
very loud and clear.
Pardon?
now the
Now
voice is
your
clear.
voice is
Yeah.
clear.
Shall I start then?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think more better.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm just sharing the screen. I hope you are able to see.
Yes, yes. Now
Yes,
voice
sir.
is also
Yes, sir.
clear.
Okay. Now, in terms of going ahead, whenever we speak of the Ramayana or when we invoke the episodes of the Ramayana, we invoke this session as Goswami Tulsidas has mentioned, that we bow to Tulsidas, whose seat is in the southwest, Valmiki, who takes his seat in the northeast, Gauripate, that is spouse of Gauri, that is Parvati, who takes the southeast, Lakshmana and Urmila in the south, Shatrughna and Srutakirti in the west, Bharata and Mandavi in the north, and Hanuman in the east. So these are the ones we bow to before we speak of Rama and Sita. And along with Hanuman, we invite Rama as Janakya Saha Raghava. That is, we invite, O Lord of Janaka's daughter, along with Sita, to this rendition about you. So we allow him also to sit when we speak about him. And thus, the mentors who are assembled at the same time include Shiva, Kakabushundi, Yajnavalkya, and Goswami Tulsidasa. In their presence, Sri Rama, accompanied by Sita, are the deities we speak about. In this regard, whenever this particular rendition happens, in another particular point of explanation, Shiva explains to Sati that why would Shiva himself sit to hear the story of Rama? So he says that as you play with a wooden doll, O Uma, thus does Sri Rama make the whole creation dance. Sabahi Nachavata Rama Gosai. That is. So that is why I would sit to listen to the story of Rama. And in this sense, we greet, because now she is present with Shiva, we greet Bhavani and her consort Bhagavan Shankara, both of whom are embodiments of reverence and faith, and we greet them for their presence in hearing the story of Rama. And since Bhavani, in terms of either as the earlier situation of Sati and in the later situation as Parvati, because she sits with Shiva and she sees how Shiva is so interested in hearing the story of Rama, she becomes very curious. And in understanding that, she becomes very curious as to why would Shiva want to sit and listen to the entire story of Rama, who is but only a human avatar. So in order to understand that, you need to know that the retelling of the Ramayana happens in very different versions, even separately from Valmiki Ramayana. So when Shiva is able to understand the entire journey of Rama within his mind without having read Valmiki Ramayana. So when he recites this to Parvati, it is known as Adhyatma Ramayana. And though it is conceived of later by Tulsidas, but in terms of precedence, they place Adhyatma Ramayana to be prior to Valmiki Ramayana. That is, Shiva conceives of Narayana as Rama and his journey even before it has taken place. And later, Shiva imparts it once more after having spoken of it to Parvati. He speaks of it again to Kakabushundi, the sage crow, and who retells it to Garuda. And why he retells it, we'll come to that later. And therefore, at the point of Kakabushundi retelling it to Garuda, it becomes known as Kakabushundi Ramayana. Subsequently, the sages Yajnavalkya recounts the Ramayana to Bharatwaja. Tulsidas hears it from his guru. So, in that sense, they are different versions. But of the priority of the precedence is Adhyatma Ramayana, Kakabushundi Ramayana, another Ramayana that I will tell you about now. Subsequently comes the Valmiki Ramayana. So these are games in time travel of conceiving, of imagining, of presupposing how Narayana would travel as Rama even before the Ramayana has taken place. But when it comes to Kakabushundi, due to a curse and a boon given by Shiva to Bhushundi, the sage crow is able to travel in 1,000 different janmas in parallel time. So in some janma he is before the Ramayana, in some janma he is along with Rama in Balakanda, and in some other janmas he is part of the battle in Sri Lanka, and in some other janmas he talks of the Ramayana in past tense. So this is a very wonderful game of quantum physics, of quantum time that is imparted within Kakabushundi Ramayana. Let's go ahead in this. So this particular tale, in terms of Adhyatma Ramayana, as I said earlier, Ramayana is yet to happen. So it is conceived by Shambhu, who imparts it to his consort Uma and later imparted to Kakabushundi. So he says, Charita Suhava, Bauri Kripakari Umai Sunava. So he conceives of the Charita But with his gracious understanding and blessings, he does kripa to speak of it to Uma in that sense. Now we look at the questions that now since Shiva has spoken of it to Parvati and he has told the entire Ramayana, though before it has happened, before it has actually begun to work out, before the game of Narayana has started to take place, because he has mentioned that, now Uma is very curious. So she puts up questions that require Shankara to give very detailed answers. Now, here is where the interesting game begins. Because if you realize Shiva's consorts in sequence are three. The first of the earliest consort is Ambika in terms of the point of creation, and subsequently it is Sati, daughter of Daksha, and then Daksha in the house of Daksha, Sati enters the Havan, and therefore she is sacrificed there. And subsequently, after a long period of time, because Shankara decides not to get into any other alliance after that with a consort, and until Kamadev comes, Parvati does not have a chance in that sense. So, Ambika, then Sati, and then Parvati. Now, here you are looking at the third part where it is Parvati who asks detailed questions to Shankara in understanding the Ramayana. But at many times, there is a game in terms of time. We will look at that now. Before we understand that, in terms of Sri Ramcharitmanas, you need to understand that Tulsidas says that there are, when you look at the story of Rama, and as you go into it in detail, not just by looking at the TV episodes or just by looking at some movie or reading a story, but when you look and go inside the aspect of Rama, when you go inside and dive inside the Ramayana, you realize that you are not able to get out of it. Why are you not able to get out of it? Because you are in your Manasa. So the lake is in your mind. Manasa Sarovar is a lake that is formed within your mind. You are swimming in that and you are drowning in the story of Rama. But each time then you try to get out of it, you come to four ghats. So one ghat is manned by Kakabushundi and Garuda. The second ghat is manned by Shiva and Parvati. The third is managed by Yajnavalkya and Bharadwaja. And the fourth is managed by Tulsidasa and other saints. So whenever you try to climb out of it, remember ghat, what are ghats? Ghats are steps where you enter the water, wet your feet and come back. But here these ghats are depicted by Tulsidasa as those that prevent you from coming out of the water. So you are unable to come out of the holy and charming lake of Manasa. So now I will repeat to you, to the best of my understanding, the dialogue between Uma and Shambhu. And hear of this, because of the time and occasion of this dialogue, you will feel much better in understanding this. Now, going back to Sati, it's a very intricate retelling. You know, at the point of Shiva and Sati, Rama and Ramayana is already taking place. The journey of Rama has begun. He has gone into exile and is already in the forest while they are together. Shiva and Sati are together. But later, when Parvati comes in, much later, and when Parvati begins to ask Shiva, at that time he is conceiving the tale of Ramayana as Adhyatma Ramayana, and he says Ramayana is yet to happen, the journey of Rama is yet to happen, Narayana is yet to become Rama. So, this game of time can only be created by the creator of the cosmos, where he can break these various layers of time. So, when he is with Sati, he is already inside Ramayana, so it is in the present tense. But when he is with Parvati, it is in the future tense. So, this is a very intricate game that is played and it is presented so nicely by Tulsidas. So, when you read Sri Ramcharitmanas again, please understand this shades of time that is there. So, at this point, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana are already in the forest, and Ravana and Maricha have come to their location. Shiva and Sati had just then visited sage Agastya. If you understand, or if you know, or if you remember, sage Agastya is actually a son of Pulastya, that is grandfather of Ravana. So Ravana is yet to come in because he is still a son of his, a cousin brother of his father. Here, Shiva and Sati have visited Agastya, who has narrated the story of Rama as Agastya Ramayana, and Mahadev listened to it with great delight. So here sage Agastya speaks of Agastya Ramayana in the past tense. But at that moment, they are still within the Ramayana in the present tense, because at that time Rama, Sita and Lakshmana are in the forest and Ravana and Maricha have come to their location. Though sage Agastya was able to foresee the entire avatar of Vishnu, and Mahadev was very delighted to have heard the story of Rama, now he is very curious and very delighted, very happy. So he is glorious in his happiness and he wants to go and have a look at Rama. But he knows that Vishnu has gone as a human avatar for a very significant purpose. So if Shiva comes to meet him, and if people come to know that Shiva came to meet a human avatar, human person, human being, then it would defeat the purpose of the avatar of Narayana. So therefore Shiva is in a dilemma. He is lost in thought. Meanwhile, Ravana and Maricha have begun their line of action at the forest. So that event is beginning to happen and Sita goes missing. Raghupati is distressed at the loss like a mortal man, and he roams about the forest with Lakshmana. So that particular sequence of action where Ravana and Maricha have played their game, Sita has been taken away by Ravana, and Raghupati is sad and distressed and is roaming about with the forest with Lakshmana. At that time, when Rama is sad, at that time Shambhu sees Rama and feels an extreme wave of joy flooding his heart. He sees that, okay, Narayana is in his multi-layered game as a human being, and therefore it is not correct to disclose my identity. And he can just sit back and watch this game but not get involved. But at that time, Sati, who is along with him, has a doubt in her mind, because she knows and she recognizes Shankara as the universe himself. He's the cosmos himself, and everybody bows down to him. But at this point, he's bowing down to this human, Rama, who, though he may be an avatar of Narayana, but he is going around helpless. Mahalakshmi herself has been kidnapped, and Narayana is unable to retrieve her. And how can Shiva then accept Rama as his ideal, as his, somebody who is the supreme being in that sense, and who is all true consciousness and bliss, as according to Shiva? So she has a major doubt. She says there is something wrong in all this. If Narayana is so powerful, if Narayana is so supreme, even if he is in a human avatar, how can he allow Mahalakshmi to be kidnapped in that sense? So she feels there is something wrong. She has a doubt. So she asks Shiva, she says, if Sita was Mahalakshmi indeed, how can Narayana not know what happened? Narayana is all knowing. But Shambhu, that is Shiva, has explained to her that no, don't get involved. Don't get involved in this particular avatar of Ram. Stay away. Just watch it happen. So that also could be correct, because she has to understand and listen to Shambhu there. But though she agrees with Shiva, her mind is filled with a series of doubts, and her heart could not be pacified by any means. So even if she did not speak of her thoughts, Mahadev, who is the inner controller of all, says, Sunai sati tava nari subhahu. Though you have stayed quiet and you are not arguing with me, I understand what is going on in your thought. So the doubt that is foremost in you, you should never have such a thought in your mind, because he is but Narayana as Rama, and you should not have a doubt about Narayana. So even as he repeats his emphasis, he makes an offer to her. He says, okay, now I cannot convince you, because you will not agree to let go of your doubts. So if you have a grave doubt in your mind, Okay, you go ahead and verify it. I'll wait here till you return. But you should use your critical judgment. You should resort to some normal device whereby the error born of your ignorance can be rectified. Don't play smart with Narayana. Don't act over smart. He cautions her. Just go check and come back. So she steps forward to test Rama. Here Sati decides to take on the form of Sita. Now, though Mahadev has explained, told her to be cautious, not to be over smart, not to indulge in any other particular game, here at this point, when Narayana as Rama is the most vulnerable, at that point Sati decides to take on the form of Sita. And she moves ahead on the same route on which Rama was passing. Lakshmana sees her in her disguise, but he is astonished and puzzled because they have already met Jatayu and they have already discussed with Jatayu. And Jatayu has said that, Ravana has taken her away. And now he sees Uma, he is seeing Sita, who's actually Uma in disguise. And he wonders, but for Jatayu, what did he tell us? What happened? And here she is walking around peacefully. But Sri Rama, Narayana himself, immediately detects the disguise of Sati. So while Bhavani thought she could practice deception on Rama at his most vulnerable moment, Raghupati was not affected. So he asks, where is Brushaketu? Bahori kaha Brushaketu? And why are you roaming around alone without him? Akeli firau kahi etu? So smilingly he introduced himself along with the name of his father. I am who, son of Dasharath. And he asked about the whereabouts of Mahadev, who has Brishaketu, that is, who has the bull on his flag. He asks, why are you without him? Now Sati feels very uncomfortable when she hears these soft and significant words of Rama. So she returns to Mahadev with a feeling of dejection, and she realizes that she did not listen to the word of Shankara but imposed her own ignorance on Rama. And what reply can I give to my Lord now? And the agony of her heart was most terrible. So at this point, what happens is Shiva asks her very innocently, though he knows what has happened, he asks her very innocently, Uma, what happened? What happened? What did you do? And she refuses to tell him that she took on the role of Sita. And she does not say that she played a game on Rama. She tried to play a game on Rama. So she avoids all that sequence of events that happened between her and Rama. Now Shiva realizes that she is not telling the entire truth. So those of you who are from Western Maharashtra will know of this particular location where she was asked to stay back and Shiva returned to Kailash on his own. And that is where now the temple of Ramavardhini is there near Satara. That is just south of Nashik. So in that direction of, at Nashik is where Ravana picks up Sita. South of Nashik is where Rama and Lakshmana meet Jatayu after the battle. And south of that particular location, near between Satara and that area, is where the temple of Ramvardhini is there. So that is where Sati has been asked to stay back for some time. However, Narayana realizes that Shiva has scolded Sati. But Sati wanted to look at and understand the aspect of Narayana. So he would like to, bless his devotees. He would like to bless those who come in search of him. So even though he is in his avatar of Rama, he steps away from his avatar of Rama and provides Bhavani with a divine vision so that as she turns in each direction, now she is alone and she is wandering around in the forest trying to figure out what to do. As she turns in each direction, she sees Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana walking in the forest in any direction that she turns. And wherever she turns and looks at Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, she looks that along with them were Mahadeva, Brahma, and Narayana, but Narayana here as Vishnu. And she sees more than one triad of the Trinity, more glorious than ever, and she decides to stay on there. She says, this place is much more blessed than any other place, and therefore the temple of Ramvardhani in that particular area is the one of the most important. Today also you can visit this particular temple. Today also you can see the forest. The forest is still there, and you can glory, be happy in that particular pilgrimage. Though it is a very humble pilgrimage place, it is a very important point of location within the Ramayana. Much later, now after Sati, as Parvati, now after she is back as Parvati, now she sits with Shiva, and now she decides, now I better have my say. I should understand this avatar of Rama. So, because now she wants to understand him, why Narayana would go as Rama, and she wants to understand that right from the beginning. So, therefore, Goswami Tulsidas places the entire sequence of events of Ramayana and the journey of Rama as I, uh, events to happen in the future, though it has already happened when Sati was there. Now, here she says, Parvati says, in the forest, in my earlier birth, I witnessed Sri Rama's glory. So, she is talking about past tense. But I was too awe-stricken to tell you, so I could not tell you the truth of what happened, what I did, and what I should not have done. But in spite of your blessings, you did not scold me, you did not curse me, you did not, abandon me. And I saw the glory of Narayana also. But in spite of that, some doubt still lingers in my mind. You have, I understand, I accept that you have instructed me in many ways more than one. But now I would like to hear the sacred virtues of Sri Rama. My heart is very distressed, but your blessings are enough. So be gracious enough to narrate the story of Rama of Raghuvamsa. But in telling me this, do not tell me of just how Narayana went as Rama and how Ravana picked up Mahalakshmi and how Rama went and attacked Ravana and killed him. I don't want that particular sequence. I want to understand in very great detail of how Narayana, in the role of a human avatar, in spite of that, he is able to help you understand when you listen to the Ramayana, help you understand the concepts of devotion, jnana or knowledge of the formless absolute, vijnana or the knowledge of qualified divinity with and without form, and dispassion. So here she raises the plane of knowledge. She raises the benchmark here of listening to Ramayana, because now Goswami Tulsidas would like to present the Ramayana as a larger concept of being able to understand these larger issues that are part of the Ramayana of Valmiki in that sense. So, therefore, Shiva sits with Parvati, and like Suradenu, the cow of plenty, he recites the story of Rama and says that, if whoever recites this story, they will also be blessed, and those who sit and listen to it, they will also be blessed. And thus, from the questions of Parvati was born the Adhyatma Ramayana, the first of the Ramayana. Now, understand, again and again I am repeating this, that though it is in the present tense during Sati's time, and here during Parvati's time it is in the future tense. So, this first of the Ramayana defies quantum time, and only Shiva, only Mahadev, the creator of the cosmos, can break the limits of time and get in and get out within it, as in the future tense, past tense, and present tense. Subsequently, he speaks of it to Bhushundi, that is Kakabhushundi, and Kakabhushundi later speaks about it to Garuda. And thus, because of the questions of Parvati, she hears of how Shiva, because at that point Shiva is reciting the Adhyatma Ramayana, and the same Adhyatma Ramayana is repeated to sage Kakabhushundi within layers of the amazing unified aspect of time and the universe. In my book on Birds of Ramayana, where I have expounded on Kakabhushundi, I have explained that Shiva had cursed Bhushundi to be born 1,000 times as one of the lowest of animals, that is the snake. But because his guru interferes and says, Shiva, please bless him, because whatever mistakes that he would have done is made out of devotion. So bless him, modify your curse. So Shiva agrees and says, okay, you will still be born 1,000 times, but not as a snake, but as a crow. But in all those 1,000 births, you will never die and you will never be born. All those 1,000 births will happen at the same time, but they will be multidimensional. They will happen in different aspects of time, different moments of time, different locations, different dimensions. And therefore, all those multidimensional aspects of time is something that you will be able to witness. But as a crow, nobody will notice you. Even if you are sitting alongside of Rama, even if you are within the Ramayana, even if you are a participant in the Ramayana, in the journey of Rama, nobody is going to notice you because you are a crow. But you will be able to notice everybody and you will be able to recount and retell. And that is how in Tulsidas Ramcharitmanas in Balakanda, Kakabushundi comes back and tells of how Rama was born and of all the folds and smooth skin and the bright laughter and the brilliant eyes and all that. He is able to explain everything in detail, but nobody is at the point of Rama's birth, nobody realizes that a crow is watching. And to this day, that is why we revere the crow to such an extent within our knowledge system, because a crow represents multidimensional births, multidimensional lives. So a crow is with our ancestors where they were at in their present tense, but the same crow is with us in our present tense. So the aspect of time is, limitless. So when we see a crow, the same crow is also with our ancestors in their present tense. So that is the most amazing thing about the curse that and the boon and the blessings that Shiva gave to Bhushundi. And therefore, the sage Kakabhushundi is the most complex aspect of Ramayana, who is able to help us understand the supreme nature of Shiva as the creator of the cosmos and the player of the cosmos. Because what you are looking at, a day and a night and a year and a month and all that, you are looking at the synchronicity of time, of the earth rotating, of the earth moving around, the solar system moving around. For Shiva, it does not matter because he is part of the cosmos. So he is able to go beyond the aspect of time. Now, when the Ramayana began and when the battle begins with Ravana, on the day one, Meghnad is able to bring down Rama and Lakshmana together in a very short period of time in the battle. So both Rama and Lakshmana are lying down unconscious. They are tied up with the serpents, magical serpents that Meghnad has brought together. And the story is over. Rama and Lakshmana are finished, and the entire story of Rama is over. And at that time, Garuda comes in and removes all the serpents, and the serpents run away, and Garuda is able to bring back Rama and Lakshmana back to life. So at that point, Garuda is the hero. But later, when Garuda steps away from that scene, Garuda is now full of doubts. He says, is this my Narayana? Is this my Vishnu? Did I have to go and help him? Was he so helpless? So if my Narayana takes on the role of a human avatar, does he become so helpless that he cannot battle an enemy? So with this confusion and doubts, Garuda goes to Brahma and says, please explain to me what is happening. And Brahma says, hey, he is your Narayana and he is my Narayana. As much as you cannot understand him, similarly I cannot understand him. So I cannot help you, but you go and ask Shiva. He comes to Shiva. Shiva says, I could explain it to you, but then you will doubt me because you will think I am a contemporary of Narayana, so I am not the correct person to tell you. But let me introduce you to Kakabhushundi, and you go to Manasarovar and you meet Kakabhushundi there, who is meditating there in a sense, endless aspect of time, and request him to tell you. And then when Kakabhushundi speaks of Rama and speaks of all the perspectives that Parvati had asked for and explains Ramayana in a very different way, in a larger concept, and that is how Mahadev explains to Parvati, Sunu Girija Hari Charita Suhaye, Hari Avatar Hetu Jai Hoy. So this story that Kakabhushundi speaks to Garuda is much more complex in nature than what I spoke to you of in the Adhyatma Ramayana. So therefore, the Adhyatma Ramayana and Kakabhushundi Ramayana are two essentially very different Ramayanas in explaining and understanding the aspect of Rama. Because here, say the Bhushundi never questions Rama because he's part of all the multiple thousand dimensions of Rama. And he understands what has happened, why it has happened, what will happen, who will do what, and all that he knows. But at the same time, he is in his own contemporary present tense when sitting and meditating at Manasarovar. So he is able to explain all that to Garuda then. Similarly, Parvati had a doubt about why would Narayana come down as a mortal? Why would Narayana come down as a human being? And she understands that it was Narada's curse that made Narayana come down as Rama. Now she is more confused. She says Narada is a devotee of Vishnu. So why would he pronounce a curse on Narayana? What offense? What did, what happened to Narada? What made him so angry and so upset with Narayana that he cursed him to be born as a human being and that he would be separated from Mahalakshmi? And therefore, the other aspect of it is that if you know of the story, but I will tell it to you in very brief, that Narada assumes that he is the prime devotee of Narayana, and he says nobody better than him. And but since he is a sage, he would still like to go into the family life and then return back as a sage. For which Narayana does not agree, but decides, okay, chalo, let me allow him to go on that journey. So he asks Narada, what do you want? Narada says, give me the face, because I have been a sage, I have not taken care of myself, I have been roaming around like a mendicant. So I have not taken care of myself, I am not handsome and all. So give me the face of the most handsome, the most amazingly tremendous handsome person. Narayana agrees with that and then gives him the face of a Vanara. And when Narayana has done that, Narayana steps back from that particular aspect. Later, during a Swayamvar, when everybody laughs at him, Narada discovers that his face is that of a Vanara. So therefore, he gives a curse to Narayana. He goes to Narayana and he curses him and says, you will now be born a human. And as I was denied the companionship of a lady, so will you be denied the companionship of Mahalakshmi for some time, so that you will understand the sorrow, the distress, the agony of being separated from your companion. And the only person who will help you, the only way that it can be solved is by taking the help of Vanaras. And Narayana laughs. And Narada asks him, Arey, I have cursed you. I have given you the most distressing of curses. And why are you laughing? And Vishnu says, see, I have to go on earth as a human avatar. I have to undergo this entire process. But who would curse me to undergo this? I cannot take on my own appearance and change my own appearance or change my own aspect. Somebody has to ask me, somebody has to curse me, somebody has to make me do this. Who is so powerful, who is so bold, who is so courageous enough to tell me to leave my role of Narayana and go down? Remember the two human avatars, the three human avatars that is there, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, in that sense, if you look at that sequence, they are yet to happen. And it is because of the curse of Narada that they begin to happen in that sense. Upon completion of retelling the Ramayana, now Mahadev has completed the retelling of Ramayana to Parvati, and so now he says, Uma, oh Uma, I have repeated in full the delightful story. Jo Bhushundi Kagapati Sunaye, Kagapati ane, that is Garuda. And I have thus recounted a few of Rama's virtues. Now let me know, Bhavani, what should I tell you next? Is there anything else that I have to tell you? You know, and Bhavani says, Uma says that I am blessed to have heard this story, and she replies in exceedingly polite accents. As Goswami Tulsidas writes, Boli ati binita mridubani. Very exceedingly politely she says, Danya daniya maya danya purari. I have been thrice blessed. Purari means, O slayer of Tripurari. And to have heard Rama's praises that take away the fear of birth and death in that sense. But she has questions about Kakabhushan. She says, you have chosen to call this the Manasa lake of Sri Hari, that is Hari Charitra Manasa, and I listened to it. You have just told me that this story was recited by Kakabushundi to Garuda, and Kakabushundi is so determined in his dispassion and passion and steadfast in his wisdom and realization. And he has great, extremely deep devotion to Sri Rama at his feet. But how can one possessing the form of a crow, how could he be a devotee of Sri Rama in such a manner? And that fills me with doubt. So kindly explain to me at length, O Vishwanatha, how can such a devotion to Sri Hari be attained by a crow? And that is why to this date we give respect to the crow, the aspect of a crow, that the crow that comes to meet us during Pitrupaksha or during at any prayer when we give our offerings to a crow, we are giving it to the primary devotee of Sri Hari, and thereby we are taking the blessings of Narayana. That sense. And she says, how can that be that you choose this particular aspect of the crow to be the most primary devotee of Sri Hari? And how did Bhushundi obtain the form of a crow, even though devoted to Sri Hari? She asks in that particular sequence. And her next question is that how did he get to know the entire story of Rama? And how could you hear it? Oh, destroyer of Kama, she says, Madanari, because I am now very curious about it. Garuda, again, similarly, he is very enlightened, an embodiment of virtues. You could have chosen him. You could have told the entire tale of Rama to Garuda. Why choose the crow? And Garuda is actually a servant of Sri Hari and he lives very close to Narayana. But leaving him, leaving Garuda, leaving all other well known sages, why do you approach a crow? And he then speaks of it to Garuda later. So, tehi kehi hetu kaga sanajai. Why would you speak of it to a crow? So, let me know how the dialogue proceeded between the crow and Garuda, both of whom are devotees of Sri Hari. She asks of this. And Mahadev explains the entire Kakabushundi Ramayana, the sequence of the life of Kakabushundi, the sequence of earlier life of Bhushundi, and speaks of how Kakabushundi is able to look at Rama and Shiva, Narayana and Mahadev in the same parallel aspect of time and understand that though the sequence of life of Sri Rama is has a beginning and an end, but the dimensions of Rama are multiple and multidimensional. And so there are a million Ramayanas that take place all the time, even to this date. And even at this moment, the Ramayana is taking place at some place, some time, in some aspect of time, in some aspect of dimension. So therefore, Kakabushundi, he who sits at the banks of Manasarovar and recounts this, says that as long as the aspect of time remains, the aspect of Narayana and Shiva in their intermixed game of time and sequence of action and responsibility will continue to happen, and this will never be able to be stopped in that sense. So therefore, it's in great detail. You can look at the Sri Ramcharitmanas and you can look at the entire retelling there. I am also taking these sessions with the class in MA Hindu Studies. So I will also be taking sessions on Kakabushundi in that sense. So those of you who are not students, you are welcome to join the course as students and you can enjoy this. And she is now grateful. Girija is grateful with Mahadeva's retelling. Hridaya Atibai, she's very grateful in that sense. And she replies in pleasing tones, by the grace of my Lord, my doubts have disappeared. Mama Gata Samadeha, and my devotion to Sri Rama's feet has been renovated. Rama Charana, and I have again Upajayu in that sense. And she says, by your blessings, now I have attained the object of my life. My devotion to Sri Rama has sprung in my heart, and all my afflictions have ended. So she is able to solve the doubts that she had as when she was Sati, and now later, upon hearing the entire Adhyatma Ramayana and of hearing about Kakabushundi Ramayana, she is now satisfied and peaceful. So thank you for joining me in the journey with Girija and within the Ramayana. I am open to questions and I hope you have been able to listen to it in that sense. Thank you. Any questions? I hope my entire intervention was audible clearly.
Yes, sir, it was
Yes, yes.
audible.
Pardon?
Yes, sir, it was loud and clear, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Any questions now?
Namaste, Bharat sir.
Yes.
Actually, on behalf of Malvi ma'am, I would like to thank you for taking this beautiful session on the Girija Devi and how you just narrated the Ramayana from various perspectives like Kagbhushundi and the question of Sati, taking it to a lot of, you can say, covering the major part of Rama and that how it started, how it existed, or rather, I could say it came to the existence. It was a very beautiful session.
Thank
Since
you.
Malvi ma'am is busy with some other work, so I would like to thank on behalf of Malvi ma'am and the Center for Hindi Studies for taking this class with our students. And now we are open for the students also for the questions. I think someone has put questions in chat. We can see the chats also. Okay, so C. Rao sir is saying that this seems to be a Shaivite story, which I never heard before. Uh, Okay, Bharat sir, there's a question for you. Jitendra
Yes.
sir is asking that could you please post the link to your blog as we couldn't find it.
I'll post the link in the group. Yeah.
Yes. So as per the comments, everyone has liked your session, sir, very much. Everyone has
Sir,
enjoyed it a
can I
lot,
can I
including me.
ask a question? Is that
Yes, please.
possible?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Bharat Bhushan sir, this is Bina Shenoy here.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, so this retelling which is in the Ramcharitmanas, which I have read a little bit in that, can we safely assume that the Ramayana will happen in every kalpa as per what Ramcharitmanas states?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Not only in Kalpa, but in all aspects of time. So
Every
even when it
Treta
is
Yuga, we can expect it to happen.
no, even in every yuga, even in any kalpa, but even as Ramayana is happening, in another dimension, it is yet to happen. In another dimension, it has already happened. So that is the magic of the aspect of Kakabushundi, the parallel lives of time.
Yes, sir. That was my confusion, which I when reading I found. Yeah, because
Yes,
he
yes.
explains that Ravana comes in different forms in different yugas.
Yes, yes. Somebody has left their mic open.
Yeah.
Uh, Okay.
Sir,
Uh,
I don't
सर
have a question
मराठी
for
में
you.
पूछे तो चलेगा
pardon?
मराठी में क्वेश्चन पूछेगा तो चलेगा या हिंदी
मराठी में भी चलेगा, हिंदी में भी चलेगा, दोनों भाषा में पूछा तो दौड़ेगा.
ओके सर ते तुम्ही ती स्टोरी सांगितली ना की रामाला शाप लागला तसा सीतेला पण शाप लागला होता ना की ती ते दोन पक्षी रामायणाच्या कथा सांगत होते आणि त्याच्यामध्ये ती त्या पक्षाला ती रामाचं इतकं वर्णन तिने केलं की सीता मोहित होऊन गेली तर ती म्हणाली की तुम्ही तुम्ही इथेच राहा आणि मला कथा सांगा पण त्याची ती पक्षी गरोदर होती म्हणून ती काही राहिले नाही पण त्या सीतेने त्या दोघांना वेगळं केलं तर तिने पण त्याला शाप दिला होता की तू जसं मला वेगळं केलंस तसं तू सुद्धा वेगळी होशील रामापासनं मग हे म्हणजे ही स्टोरी कुठली आहे मग
There are many versions of Ramayana. Please remember this. Valmiki Ramayana in terms of time of Rama. Valmiki is a contemporary of Rama. He is part of the life of Rama because when Sita is pregnant and when Rama asks Sita to leave Ayodhya,
हा
Lakshmana and Hanuman bring Sita to Valmiki's ashram. So he is a parallel contemporary of Rama. So if suppose Ramayana has taken place in 5000 BC, 4000 BC, 300 BC or whatever, remember Tulsidas is a contemporary of Akbar. So he is much more recent. He is a contemporary of William Shakespeare. So when Tulsidas is writing Sri Ramcharitmanas, William Shakespeare is writing Julius Caesar at the same time. Akbar is present there at that time because Akbar meets Tulsidas in that sense. So people assume that after Valmiki, nobody wrote Ramayana till Tulsidas. But it is not correct. In every language, even in Telugu, Tamil, Bengali, Assamese, even in tribal languages, Ramayana has been rewritten, written, and rewritten. And it has been written by women also. And even it has been written by tribal women also. And they have recited it without writing also. In some of the Maithili and the Bihar area, Bhojpuri and Maithili, and even in Telugu and Bengali and Odia, tribal women have recited the Ramayana to such a perfection that later people were able to write it down because of what they had written. But by the time Tulsidas writes Ramcharitmanas, he has one particular verse where Parvati asks Shiva to talk about Ramayana, talk about Rama, but she qualifies it. She says, though I am a woman and I have no right to hear about Narayana, so as a woman, I have no right to hear about Narayana. Please tell me the story of Narayana. So at the point of Goswami Tulsidas, in his contemporary aspect with Akbar, he does not recognize the stature of women because he is already part of a Mughal era. So, but most of those other aspects that you mentioned of Sita and other aspects, there are so many versions of Ramayana. Kamban Ramayana is there, and there is a different version of Adhyatma Ramayana in Malayalam, which is sung, which is entirely poetic. So there are so many of these instances of where Sita has been cursed, or where Sita has been asked to go back as a human being. Mahalakshmi has been asked to go back as a human being, where within the life of Sita she is cursed. So there are so many other intricate versions that are there. But what I would like to tell you all of a very interesting incident is because when the battle between Jatayu and Ravana take place, and Sita is distressed, and then Jatayu is crushed and about to be killed. So later, when Sita comes back with Rama, she wants to know what happened in that battle. So there is a temple in Tamil Nadu where to this date, every year, the entire battle between Jatayu and Ravana is recreated. And the distress of Sita is recreated. And it is said that Rama and Lakshmana, Dasharatha, Bharata, and Shatrughna, they sit there as audience each year. And they listen to this dance drama about the battle between Jatayu and Ravana and the distress of Sita. To this day, you can go to that temple during that festival. You can sit there. You can see the entire recounting of that dance drama, and it is done there. Thank you. Srikanji, you had a question?
So the story
Yes,
of
sir.
birds cursing Sita is in Padma Puran, Patal Khanda.
Yes, yes. Srikanji, you had a question?
Yeah, just in continuation to earlier, there is one critical edition of Ramayana. So, what we talked about this Adhyatma Ramayana and this Shiva and Parvati story, that is not included in critical edition. Am I right?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
This is all part of the Ramcharitmanas.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So we have varieties of these Ramayana, and in a critical research also analytical they have. So there is no what I would not say authentic, but there is no something as a this is the real Ramayana, this is not. But these are all the phases of different types of Ramayana which we have to hear or understand. Is that like that, or how can we say these different types of Ramayana to for a common man to understand?
As a common man, you should be happy that there are so many versions of Ramayana and there are so many ways in hearing about Rama as a common man. But as a student, in order to look at the authorized or authoritative version of Valmiki Ramayana, IIT Kanpur, their mathematics department, what they did was they created an algorithm of the Sanskrit edition, and they have established a website called valmikiramayan.net, This I have been logging in since the past 15 to 18 years since. That website has not changed. It is perfect. It did not need any editing over the past 18 years. To this day, you can go back there. You can look at the actual verses that are authorized verses, and you can look at the transliteration. You can hear the verse being recited. You can hear and listen to the different or read the different translations of that particular verse and the explanations. So the Valmiki of IIT Kanpur is the most authoritative, easily accessible, easily understandable, and easily researchable Ramayana that is available. And you can look at that. There are various other reprints and recounts. Motilal Banarsidas makes all those available. Ramcharitmanas also equally is available, but those that is a very recent one, so those verses are easily accurate in that sense. But like most of the Western scholars have inquired, was there something lost in the translation when Valmiki Ramayana describes the Vanaras and when Valmiki Ramayana describes Hanuman and all that? Why do we make them to look like monkeys? Why are they not regarded as a parallel human race that had iconic clans that used the icons of apes or monkeys in that sense? So these are valid questions. We are nobody to answer it now because there is nobody who can explain that properly. But you can look at valmikiramayana.net and get the most authoritative version.
Sorry, sir, and thank you for this explanation. Actually, the common man word comes not as an authority
I understand. No problem.
having these words, but the
Yes,
only one
yes, of course, of course.
we nowadays debate, and
I
the.
just picked up on that word. That's all. Don't
I
worry.
understand. I understand.
Yeah,
No, no,
yeah,
no. So I'm coming from the point why, because that there are inter-religion caste and
yeah,
people
yeah.
who
Very true.
naturally debate. Then
Very
there
true.
is no thing to say that okay, was this a correct or was that correct?
Correct,
And
correct.
we ourselves get confused.
Very
And then
correct.
the other religious people will then put you down saying this is mythology. I am
No,
like debating with people, this is not mythology. This is something hasn't happened. It is historical. But again, we come back to the same things that how it is a myth. So we just can't explain. That's the reason I was asking that question. How to come over.
let me solve that because it needs to be solved. It needs to be answered. When we look at this dilemma, are our Puranas stories, fanciful stories, fairy tales, or mythology, or are they itihasas in that sense? Because they themselves explain in the very first beginning, Mahabharata and Ramayana, they explain it that they are itihasas and they are Puranas, not in terms of storytelling, not like Panchatantra or not like Jataka, where actually they use allegory and that in that sense. But here, when you look at this, you have to realize that three aspects of actual fact happen in both the Ramayana and Mahabharata. One is whenever a chapter is taken up, whenever a sequence of events is taken up, Valmiki or Vedavyasa, they explain to you and they describe the chart of the astronomy, the stars in the sky at that particular place. So when they explain that in Mithila, the stars at the point of Swayamvar were in such a configuration, but at the same time in Ayodhya, where Dasharatha is resting and wondering about what happened to Rama, he also describes the stars at that time, but they are differently placed. So the difference in the configuration of stars between Ayodhya and Mithila at that particular time on the same night is so very well defined. So similarly, this happens all through Mahabharata, all through Ramayana, the planetary configurations. Dr. Saroj Bala, who heads the institute called Ayurveda, has used all these references to chart the difference in time and the sequence of time. So if they say that Rama in the Swayamvar of was this age, and at the point of coronation and when Dasharatha sends him out on exile was at this particular age, and this was the star configuration in both the skies at that time, and this was a difference of about 8 years. Is that correct? So using current modern planetary software, Dr. Saroj Bala has managed to prove that the sequence of time of those events that have been mentioned in the Ramayana and Mahabharata are almost accurate. So that is one particular point of truth that cannot be avoided. The second is the locations, the places. So when they say that he crossed this river, then he went to Chitrakoot, and in between he went into many of those locations, There are two scientists from the Botanical Survey of India who looked at all the plants mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. They did not look at Ramcharitmanas, they did not look at all the other versions of Ramayana. They only looked at Valmiki Ramayana. They picked up all the plants and looked at the physiogeography and hydrogeology of that particular time and tried to figure out whether those plants would have existed. And in sequence to that, they went to those locations, they located those plants, they located the plant fossils, they look at the prehistoric, the fossil history of the particular area, and a wonderful book of the botanical justification of Ramayana has been published by the Botanical Survey of India, not by a private publisher, not by a private author. They have done that. The third point comes in terms of the locations in those particular places. That when you speak of Nashik, when you speak of Kishkinda, when you speak of Rameshwaram, when you speak of Sri Lanka, when you speak of all this, the most amazing thing is when Rama takes his entire army to Rameshwaram, he is coming into a marine island, and there is.
Three finger space, sir.
Pardon?
Three finger space.
Pardon? Hello? Please, please mute your
Someone
mic.
has a mic on. Can you please shut it off? Samson 5010 something.
Anyway, so when Rama takes his entire army to go ahead to meet Ravana, he comes to Rameshwaram. At that point, it is not Rameshwaram, it is known after that that is Rameshwaram. So he is coming to an island, a marine island. Now you have an entire army and there is no fresh water there. So how do you take an army forward if you don't have water to drink? So he uses divination. He uses divination to discover water. And to this date, if you go to Rameshwaram temple, there are 64 springs that have been divined by different sages to help Rama discover fresh water. Even to this date, that board is there at the temple. All those 64 springs are there. That is a yatra by itself, a pilgrimage by itself, where people go to each of those springs and they take bath there. They pour that water over their heads. So if such a situation happens, why is there no other situation anywhere else in India that Ramayana took place here and the Rama's army stopped here, but only in Rameshwaram? So these are aspects of the Itihasa that are very definitive cornerstones of the epic, and we cannot just dismiss them as a myth, but we will definitely find that the more you search for it, the more answers you will get. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, Dr. or D.K. Hari, he is also an author of astrological calculations, and that books also I have read about. So that
Yes,
was one. Second thing was in Mumbai also in Valkeshwar Banganga, which talks
yes.
about hitting the arrow and the fresh water coming out as stream.
That comes up in many locations in India where Rama is angry and he has thrown an arrow. So there are many locations. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
questions, please?
Sir, where is the temple you said in Tamil Nadu?
I will pass that link, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
You must be very curious.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a Tamilian, na?
Yes, I'm a Tamilian.
And you don't know the place.
No.
Ah, so you have to now ask Rama for the blessing.
Thank you, sir.
I will give you that link, ma'am. Yeah.
Excuse
Even
me,
the
sir.
Ramavardhini temple, we
Yes,
need
yes.
to know.
That is very easily known. You can just look at it, Google it, and you will get Ramavardhani temple because there is only one Ramavardhani temple in India.
Yes.
Yeah. Shall we conclude now? For
Sure.
all those who are curious and who want to know more, please join the course MA in Hindu Studies and join us in this particular journey in getting to know more and more and enjoy the journey. As Professor Madhaviji explained, all the Sanskrit scholars have very boring lectures, and all those who are storytellers will give you much more enjoyable, exciting stories. But that is besides the point. But just to understand and learn and travel on this journey is itself a opportunity, and the University of Mumbai has provided you with that opportunity, and it is open to all. So I am very grateful to the university, and we will be able to take it forward ahead. For all those questions that have been asked and I have not answered, I will try to place it in the chat. Thank you. Shall we close now?
Thank you, sir.
Last question, Dr. Bharat Bhushan. I'm from Hyderabad, Dr. Rambabu and Swarna. Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, your lecture was wonderful. So you basically quoted 4 different narrations of Ramayana, right,
Yes.
from Adhyatma Ramayana to the other 4, except for Tulsidas ji. Rest are all, you can say that, they're all mythological characters. So I just want to know, is there any difference in the structure of Ramayana narrated by these different people to different people, or is the basic Ramayana story is same in all?
Basic sequence is the same. The nature of explanation is very different. But as a person from Telugu background and an Andhra person, you should first read Mulla Ramayana. Mulla Ramayana is by Mulla, who is a tribal lady
Yes.
who was kept imprisoned in her house for 10 years. And her father did not allow her to learn about the Ramayana. And she recited the Ramayana to herself again and again and again in such a way that when she was finally released, she was able to recite the entire Ramayana so that somebody could write it down. And Mulla Ramayana is one of the greatest of Ramayanas because it is coming entirely from the heart of a tribal woman who was put inside a room, imprisoned, did not have an opportunity to read, listen, hear anything, not able to discuss, but still able to take in Rama in her heart and be able to explain the entire Ramayana. And that is one of the most amazing of Ramayanas, which as an Andhra person, as a Telugu person, మీరు తప్పగా అది వినండి, తప్పగా అది చదవండి, తప్పగా అది చూడండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
థ్యాంక్ యూ
Thank
సో
you.
మచ్. చాలా బాగుంది. నాకు అనిపించింది ఈ కలియుగంలో కూడా రామాయణం అవుతుందా మరి అనేసి.
Her question is that is it possible that Ramayana is still happening in Kali Yuga? My answer as a devotee would be that we should be grateful that we are able to listen to the story of Rama in Kali Yuga, and that itself is a enormous blessing that we are able to appreciate it and enjoy it and go into it, because the entire aspect of Rama asking Sita to prove herself, or Shabari wanting to taste a berry and give it to Rama, the aspect of Ahalya being released by Rama. Remember this, all this is not in Valmiki Ramayana. All these are in later versions. And
Yeah.
therefore, we need to understand that as in Kali Yuga, all the other versions were born in Kali Yuga, so we are capable of distorting the Ramayana. But in doing so, we are blessed that we still understand Rama and we are able to get immersed in him. తప్పగా మనకి అది ఒక ఆపర్చునిటీ, అది మన ఆశీర్వాదం అది.
అంతే.
Thank you.
థ్యాంక్స్.
Thank you. Shall we conclude now?
Sir, your session is the only session that I don't want to say that let's not conclude and let's continue again.
Thank you, thank you. You're all very kind.
No, sir, it was exceptionally amazing.
Thank
I've
you.
not, I mean, every aspect that you've given, I've been enlightened like, oh, there is the version, there is time dimension. It was very insightful, sir.
And please remember, this entire session is about the questions of Girija to Mahadev. I have not spoken to you about the answers of Mahadev. I only asked, because it is Dasara, because we are in the Devi series, I'm only asking about the doubts that was raised by Girija. In understanding the answers, it can be an entire year. Thank you.
Wow, then we need to have your sessions more often, sir.
Yeah. So I am
Thank
very
you so much,
grateful,
sir.
Jyotsna ji, thank you, and everybody else.
Thank you, sir. It
Thank
was
you.
an
Thank you. Shall we
Thank you
close?
so much,
Shall I
sir.
close now? I think I am the host now, so I will have to close. I'll close now. Thank you. We can exit now.